Alright Reddit, what are your best college life hacks? Our air conditioning in our dorm would only go so low, so it was always hot in our room. We took a wash rag and ran it under hot water, then laid it on the top of the thermostat. Instant cool. Or, like I got most of my coaches to do in the sauna we called a high school, get an old desk lamp that gets really hot and put it really close to the thermostat so the thermometer thinks it's really hot and doesn't ever stop cooling down. My teachers just used their old projectors. Credit cards are not free money. The banks know you're young and experiencing freedom. Please, don't spend money you don't have. It's a vicious cycle that can lead to a lot of problems. And watch out for addiction, that jumps up on people without them knowing. Look out for yourself, look out for your friends. True words here. And keep in mind you can become addicted not only to drugs and chemicals, but to bad environments, bad people, and bad habits. E.g. procrastinating on Facebook, Reddit, days before an important exam. 2. Try meditation. No, not the Om stuff. I mean the take a few minutes to actually think and talk with yourself one. Keep your mind clean and always be mindful of your desires, influences, emotions and problems. Sad that I became addicted to that. Within your major, ask every single one of your professors if they need help with their research. Now you have a ton of things you can put under job experience. This is so important. Most professors will give you a chance, even if you were not impressive in their class. Hell, ask professors you've never even taken a class with. Worst case scenario, they'll say no, but they'll still be impressed that you asked. My senior year, I did research with 2 of my professors that I was paid $12 an hour for, logging my own hours, so outside of weekly meetings, my work was just whenever I wanted to do it, which was frequently. I had a ton of fun doing it. I learned an insane amount that I would never have learned in any class, and at the end of it, I published a paper with my name as the first author. Even though I graduated 2 years ago, I'm actually working on another project now with one of those professors, and we're putting together a second paper. It's by far the most useful experience I had as a college student. I'm at university in England studying biomed. How do I go about this? Just email a load of lecturers and ask if they need any help? Schedule more time than you'll think you'll need between classes. Things always come up, and you can always use the extra time to study. And if you have to print something on campus, just go ahead and plan for every possible thing to go wrong. The printing advice is so true. Oh no, the nightmares. I don't understand how printers always break when you need them the most. And printing something in colour? You're better off carrying around coloured pencils. Professors' office hours. Go to them. Ask questions. Get to know them. It helps you stay motivated to do well in your courses, keeps you in tune with expectations, and most importantly, helps you later on with letters of recommendation for internships and grad school. Also, if you say get a B or a B+ comes down to which way the professor rounds, they're more likely to round up if they know that you've been putting in the work, and going to office hours is one of the ways of letting them know that you're putting in the work. College professor here. All of the above is true for me. Come to my office and I will point you in the right direction on everything. The only kids who are going to get an A anyway seek me out. There's a reason they get lots of A's. Apply for scholarships. Seriously, my department had $6,000 to $10,000 scholarships that sometimes had only one person apply for them. It's the easiest money you'll ever make. This is the only time in your life where writing a few essays could net you thousands of dollars. I've never seen such scholarships. All I saw is like, spend a good amount of time volunteering, get $2,000. At that point, I might be better off getting a job. You got to know where to look. Every school has some old rich alums donating money for scholarships. My university's webpage for these was buried like 8 pages deep from the debt homepage, but they were there. This was a fairly small liberal arts state school, but there were close to a dozen scholarships for our small physics department alone, were the ones that were interdisciplinary. If you go to a state school of any reasonable size, over 5,000 undergrads say, I'd be shocked if there aren't any departmental scholarships. I studied English at university and got sick of having to go to the library, find a stack of books on James Joyce or whatever, and skim read them for hours, looking for relevant quotes about, say, references to food so I could cite them in essays. Eventually I discovered Google Books, which let me search the full text of millions of books and cite them as though I'd found them in person and read them. Huge time saver. I see so many kids start research papers by just grabbing a stack of books. No, read about your topic first. Familiarise yourself with what aspect you want to talk about. Want to write about the Black Power movement? Go to the Wikipedia page, find what interests you. Do you find Malcolm X and the Black Panthers interesting? Then go on JSTOR. If your college doesn't give you access to JSTOR, then transfer. You don't go to a real college. And look up Black Panthers and Malcolm X. You'll find some papers about how Malcolm X influenced Huey P. and whatnot. And then you look in the bibliographies of those essays for books. And then you go find those books. Library doesn't have books? If they're not on Google Books, then use Interlibrary Loan. You should always start researching well in advance in order to use this option. Library doesn't have an ILL? Transfer. Also, never read a book straight through. You don't have time for that. Always go to the index or table of contents first, or Control F the PDF to search for specific things. Join lots of clubs. Attend club meetings for free food. Better yet, start your own club, and then you can pick the food and have the school pay for it, depending on whether or not you get a budget. The other upside is that if you're not really sure where your interests lie, trying a whole bunch of clubs means you'll eventually stumble upon something you love by accident. Plus, putting yourself out there in different groups with different people gets you used to the real world. Honestly, here's what I've found. Take your first semester with relatively easy classes, Gen, Eds, etc., and join whatever club or sports group that seems interesting. Pretty quickly you'll realise what you like and what you don't. Then you'll commit to those clubs that you want to, probably not more than 2 or 3. These clubs can be the foundation of your non-academic college life. Figure out our personal balance of socialising via those clubs and/or your other friends, and maintaining your benchmark grades. College is every bit as much about developing as an adult as it is learning. Socialising is essential, clubs make that easier. On top of this, grades don't matter quite as much as you're told. A 4.0 GPA looks fantastic, but using professors to create connections in your field is the real key to getting in your industry. There are 100 other 4.0 students. People hire names and faces they recognise and trust. Maintain solid grades. Hopefully that was coherent. Grades sure as hell matter if you want to go to medical school. It takes the exact same amount of time to read the lecture notes before class or after class. It takes the exact same amount of time to sit through a lecture, prepared or unprepared. Read the lecture notes before class, think about it for a bit, and then go to the lecture. This is probably the best advice on this thread. I do this all the time, and every lecture feels as if it's a review. I found most lectures dreadfully boring if I'd already studied the material beforehand. Figure out who in your class works hard and is competent. Make friends with them. Do projects with them while pulling your weight. The next 4 years will be so much easier with built-in group members and good study friends. Plus networking. One of the people in a pre-made college study group got me a job. I've been out of college for 20 plus years. Those people who are the smartest, most competent and most creative or interesting are now founders, executives and researchers at some of the most important companies in the country. I had no idea at the time how much this mattered, especially if you're at a brand name college. Access to those people is what your tuition is paying for. You don't have to network, just make lots of smart friends, add them to Facebook or LinkedIn and stay in touch. Okay, college life hacks. Let's see. If you're able to do so, live on campus. You'll meet lots of interesting people, and you'll be forced to coexist and share space with people you may feel you have nothing in common with. Heck, I'm still friends with people I met while living in a dorm 15 years ago. Some of us have absolutely nothing in common, other than the fact we shared space with each other. And that's enough. We don't argue about politics, religion, or anything like that. That's how much we like and respect each other. If something interests you, do it. Whether it's joining a fraternity or sorority, LARPing, capoeira, being a radio DJ, there's a place for all those things, and that place is college. Always keep an open mind. You're there to learn, and 95% of the things I learned in college, I learned outside of the classroom. You can learn from everything, whether it's a Gothic lit course or an international dinner. Basically, college will ultimately be whatever you make of it, so don't squander the opportunity. On a side note, in a few hours my niece is starting her freshman year at a university 6 hours away from home. Upon receiving her dorm's mailing address last week, I mailed her a letter which will be waiting for her with the following advice. Be yourself. Try new things. Remember, high school doesn't matter anymore. Don't worry about what other people think of you because they seldom do. Except your mother. You should call her. She's worried. When appropriate, be sure to always use flip-flops, soap and toothpaste, and you'll do just fine. Don't call your mum too much though, you don't want to be that girl. Golden Uncle. Nothing is more exciting than opening your dorm mailbox and seeing real mail. Or a package, even if it's something small like candy or some music. It's always a very easy way to brighten someone's day. Indeed it is. During my junior year, my cousin started her freshman year at university. We even lived in the same dorm. A few weeks in, my aunt, the mother of this cousin, sent me a box of candy, cookies, etc. to thank me for looking after my cousin. In reality, I think my cousin spent most of the semester ignoring me, but whatevs. I got cookies and candy in the mail. Don't start an assignment the night before it's due. Instead, assess how long the job will take, add a healthy safety factor, and wake up early on the due date. I'm a pretty bad procrastinator. I struggled with assignments, the 2 to 8 hour type, not 30-hour essays, for years because I'd push the work off until 11 PM the night before it was due. I'd work inefficiently all night because I was overtired, and I knew I still had hours left until it had to be handed in. I'd get it done, but it was poor quality work that took way too long. The early morning strategy works way better. I go to bed early the night before and wake up fresh before dawn. I give myself an hour to make coffee and get ready, and then I get started. The impending deadline keeps me disciplined, as there aren't many distractions available at 4 AM. It makes me a smarter, faster, more motivated worker. This strategy does run the risk of running out of time due to a catastrophic misjudgment, but that can be minimised by doing the prep work ahead of time. When I wake up, all of my information and materials are organised and ready to go. I'd estimate that jobs I started in the morning were, on average, a full grade level better and took about 40% less time than the jobs I started at night. The one time I ever got an assignment done early was when the power was out in our dorm room, non-electronic assignment. I had nothing else to do, so I did my homework. It never happened again, but it felt so good. That's a bit too risky for me. I once applied for a scholarship I learned about 2 hours before it was due. I had to write a 5,000-word essay for it about a development I'd like to see in science. I wrote some BS about biological implants and how biology drives me crazy, and I somehow got it. But I literally submitted it 3 minutes before it was due. I was just about ready to throw up. Yep, never messing with that again. I'll save some time and post the most obvious ones that are on every other college thread. Go to class. You're paying for it, so you might as well go. No one cares what you did in high school. Talk to as many people and make as many friends as you can in your freshman year. Keep your dorm room door open. People will want to talk to you, and thus you will have made more friends. Try not to be in a relationship the first few months of college. Most friends are made during those months. Don't be tied down. Be nice to everyone and try to be friendly. This includes students, teachers, and faculty. Join clubs to meet new people, make friends, and have something to do. Talk to professors and try to become friends with some. Make some sort of calendar for when homework is due. Wait until you know what textbooks are required before actually buying them. Sometimes the books aren't needed. There are a bunch more, but that's a quick rundown. I don't understand how having a relationship keeps you from having friends. In my experience, it doesn't. I got into a relationship within the first week of school. I know, and that in no way prohibited me from making friends. If anything, I made more friends because of him. Take classes with the best professors, even if it means a 7:30 AM class. Keep your Fridays clear of classes and work on a side project. Go out every weekend and meet people as much as you can. The Friday thing is really tough, but if you can pull it off, you're really lucky. I did that last semester and Fridays were awesome. This semester is a full Friday, unfortunately, though. Just curious, what could this Friday side project be?